Morning, bringing the world to you. Rich Kincaid sitting in for Michael Patrick, who right now is on the other end of our line, along with golf legend Ben Wright. Some legendary golf being played at the Open Championship, where the weather has kicked up. The wind, which was null yesterday, looks to be, 35, 40 miles an hour out there right now, and it is getting chilly, and that is being reflected in the scoring. Mr. Wright, we were talking about Tiger Woods before we went to the break. He deflected those questions, those personal questions, I think, quite well. How do you think that's affecting him? It didn't seem to affect him too much on the course yesterday with his 5-under par effort.
I thought I saw yesterday a very much rejuvenated Tiger Woods. I thought he swung better than I've seen him swing for a long time since the Troubles, and good luck to him. I think, quite honestly, he'd love to stuff it down the throats of the British gutter press.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope he does. I don't sympathize with him in any way at all as far as his behavior is concerned, but there's no need to crucify a guy.
Well, he did address the issue. He had that major press conference. Everybody got a chance to ask every question. That he didn't back away from any of those questions. But there's a time, it seems to me, where it's time to move on. It seems to me, of course, Tiger Woods having won the event the last 2 times it was contested at St. Andrews. It seems to me he loves this golf course the way Jack Nicklaus loved this golf course.
Absolutely, there's no question about it. I think the old course. You either love it or you hate it and call it a goat track, as some people have done in the past. You either love it or you hate it, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Ben, you were saying he's playing a lot better now than he had been, and he's swinging better. It probably takes a few weeks to get over losing $700 million, and then you get right back on track, right? Awful.
Well, you know something? What interested me was that I read in one of these business magazines that his net worth was only $600. So he's going to be very poor for a while.
So, then he needs to win some more major championships. So
exactly.
One supposes, yeah, absolutely. Michael Patrick, how are you making book on the rest of this tournament?
Well, it's funny you guys are talking about the old course and the fact that you can go and play there. It's open to the public. There's a lottery system that every day, even if you don't have an advanced time, you can just take your chances. And Kirk's saying that it's on his bucket list. But Ben knows that there was a time when it's hard to imagine this, but there were players and their caddies who simply didn't want to go to the British Open, whether it was at the old course or Carnoustie or any of the other venues. I just read an article yesterday that Paul Azinger didn't take his caddy because his caddy said, "I'm not going over there. The food's terrible." So he had to, tough it on his own and find a caddy. Ben, there was a time, wasn't there, where the British Open didn't have the esteem amongst the Americans that it does now.
It's very true, Michael Patrick, and I think it's very ironical that Curtis Strange is one of the commentators, and he absolutely boycotted the British Open for many years. And, it's really, I think in the early days it was justified. The food was terrible because, we were still suffering with the aftermath of the Second World War. I didn't have a decent steak till I moved to America, and that's, or visited America for the first time. And I got a real good taste of how wonderful steaks are here.
Well, Ben, speaking of the British Open and British exports, we have a beautiful British export in the studio with us this morning. Nikki Hale is here. And, Nikki, you grew up over there. And how was the British Open and the Open itself seen back those days?
Well, I'm not huge on golf, as Michael will all tell you all, but I think it's one of the most popular sports if you follow football or / soccer. And then Formula One, then maybe golf, I would think. It comes maybe third in England. But I'm not a very good golfer, so I really shouldn't comment.
Do you agree with that, Ben? It comes in third in England?
I beg your pardon?
Golf comes in third behind soccer and
Formula One?
Formula One.
Well, I think it comes behind cricket.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, something
Yes.
else I'm not a fan of.
I think so. I mean, hell, yes. I think cricket is definitely a major sport compared to golf.
Ben, you talked about some of the players boycotting the British Open, but wasn't it guys like Ben Hogan who went over there back in the 1950s, and then Arnold Palmer in the early 1960s, who, I don't want to say put an event that's 150 years old on the map, but really returned it to the kind of prominence that it deserved?
There was no question that Arnold did it, not Ben Hogan, because he said that he would come once
and win it, and he did.
And never return.
Okay.
You know, so I give the credit to Arnold Palmer. There was no question about it. He put it on the map, and of course he should have won in 1960, the Centenary Open, but he got sidetracked by an absolute cloudburst. And to give you an idea how bad it was, there was a tidal wave running down the steps in front of the clubhouse on the old course. And they called play, although there were at least 10 or 11 hours of daylight left. And Arnold was extremely angry. I was in the subterranean locker room with him in the clubhouse interviewing him when they called it off. And he was furious because he lost his momentum, and he was making one of those patented charges of his. And of course, in the cold light of the following morning, he just lost it completely, lost that momentum, and never regained it, and was just deprived by Kel Nagel, a great Australian. I'm not saying anything against Kel, but actually, Arnold should have won that. But he won the two following years, and he won in a tempest at Royal Birkdale in 1961. They had to call off a day's play because all the tents, they had tents in those days, marquees, call them what you like, they were totally flattened by a tempest, and it was just incredible. And, of course, he played the shot that is marked by a plaque when he drove into a bush, and not only did he hit the ball out of the bush, but he hit the bush out of the ground.
Huh. Man, oh, man. Mr. Wright, I got to tell you what, it's for me been a thrill just having the opportunity to have you on the show and to talk with you this morning. I can't imagine what it's like for Michael Patrick getting to actually hang out with you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
I'm only too flattered, and thank you very much.
Hey, Ben, before we let you go, I'm on page 67 of your book, Good Bounces and Bad Lies, that was penned by Michael Patrick. And they were talking about, and this is what I love, the wordsmiths that you're able to, the way you talk, but it says, on winner Bernard Langer, the imperturbable phlegmatic one. Can you tell me what that means? I got to look that up.
Quiet and unflappable.
There you go. And I just wanted you to know, next year at the Masters, I have rented an airplane to fly a banner over Augusta National that says, Ben Wright was right.
Thank you, Rich.
That ought to get him, eh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michael Patrick. Unless you
Pat,
have a closing thought for us?
Have a terrific time. We'll see you back in Michigan.
All right. You enjoy the weekend down there, all right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that golf course on television and remembering the fantastic times I've had there, and it's captivating.
Yeah, it's looking like it's getting a little less fun to play up there with every passing minute. That wind is really picking up right now. Take care, Michael Patrick.
Go to a vegan pub and have a pint right now and maybe some scotch.
There you have it. All right. Take care.